Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. In this edition, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong for UFC Vegas 37 or UFC Fight Night Smith versus Spann. So first off, where did I go wrong? Where did I really go wrong? I can't say I really went wrong with this card. I went 11 of 14. That's one no contest. I mean, not no contest, one draw between Gustavo Lopez and Haley Aletang or Aletang, Haley, or whatever, however you want to say his name. And then like the Gravely lost, got knocked out, and Kasagane lost. He got knocked out by Carlson Harris. So three fights that weren't victories for me. 11 to 14, pretty solid card. Probably my most solid card in what about 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks, maybe a little bit more because they had some weeks off. By the way, kind of rebounding and getting back in my groove. So one of my better weeks of the year so far. One of them, not D, but one of them. So not a whole lot wrong, but this is going to basically be a recap because again, not a whole lot went wrong. 11 to 14 again, just restating that for whatever reason. But let's go up the card and just see some analysis and how it went. So Hannah Goldie versus Emily Whitmire, and as always, I'm not gonna be a guy that's going to just toot his own horn so much. In this fight, I feel like this could have easily won a fight where I reached with it and it went wrong because I thought Goldie would be able to get into that clinch against the cage and be the stronger, shorter woman, keep her head, head control against the cage, head position or whatever you want to call it. Head position is controlling, so people call it different names. I call it like head control, but against the cage, and be the shorter, stronger woman and be able to hold her there, bomb rush her into the clinch, put her against the cage, muscle her against the cage, knee her to the body, and just hold her there large portion of the fight. And it's not like Whitmire's a heavy hitter or anything. So in a close decision fight or semi-close decision fight, the woman that's controlling the position, getting that cage control time, landing a little bit more or close to the same amount, will get the decision. But Whitmire was getting that little nice little trip takedown on her repeatedly, had some decent control time, not a lot of actual effective grappling or work from the top, but she was winning. And then Goldie pulled out that armbar from the bottom and got the victory. So a fight that could easily went wrong, but didn't. Yeah. So a victory for me, but definitely could have easily been a case where I just didn't like I reached and it didn't go wrong, but yeah, but same way when you pick a fight perfectly, then some guy get knocked out on the last second and like you got it wrong. The same way, well, only was the first round. It's not like a whole lot materialized. I feel like Goldie could have still been in the fight, and she was in the fight, but she won. And I'm doing a lot of talking about a fight that I won and where I still went wrong or could have went wrong in a fight that I got right. But then the next fight we had Gustavo Lopez versus Aletang Haley. In this fight, I picked Gustavo Lopez, and I said this fight was a draw, so not a win, not a loss, but ultimately not a win. And I feel like with Gustavo Lopez, I saw everything that I saw in picking him. It just didn't really materialize to the third round. Like it seemed like he kind of let his hand go a little bit in the first round, but I think he maybe a little bit tentative after feeling Alatang's power a little bit, so he was kind of tentative. Second round, like I said again, just even more tentative. The third round, he just let it go, and every time he let it go, no matter what round it was, he was to get the better of Alatang, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know why he would get gun shy a little bit, but when he started letting his hands go, started to tag Alatang, get takedowns on him, and that fight could have easily been a case where it would have been a loss for him if Aletang, even though he was dominating Aletang in the third round, probably would have been a 10-9 if not for Aletang holding the cage. So it is what it is. And like I said, you can see your wrongs and your rights in this fight, but they fought again. I probably pick Gustavo Lopez, especially with the confidence riding off that third round and they fight again, but they probably won't be matched up again. It's probably moved on to other people to pass one else's record because it's not like they both either of them look super amazing. They both look like they would probably get beat by anyone decent in the division. They both probably gonna get better opponents in their next fight, and both of them probably gonna lose their next fight potentially, as far as I see it, depending. Then into our next fight, we had into the welterweight division: Carlson Harris versus Impa Kasangane or Kasanganai. And I saw this one, I thought Kasanganai would be tighter with his defense and be able to take advantage of the loopy or kind of herky jerky Carlson Harris. But I knew Carlson Harris had power and he had solid jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu didn't really come into effect, but that power did come into effect. Yes, Kasangane was tighter, and that's like his striking was cleaner, but all it takes is one shot. You leave yourself open. Carlson Harris found it. It's not like saying, oh, it was lucky. It's not luck at all. He saw it, he found it, found the opportunity, and caught him. I thought it would be the other way around, but it's MMA. Two very dangerous guys, but it was his night. Better man of the night, won the fight, got the knockout, got him out of there. Good performance for Carlson Harris. Definitely look to see if he polishes up his striking even more. This guy can definitely be a problem for anyone in the division. Kamaru Usman, no matter who it is, with that jiu-jitsu background and also that length, that reach, and that power, and technique gets more solid. This guy is a problem for the whole division and maybe even up in middleweight as well. So hops for both guys. Even though there's a loss for Kasaga, I'm still high on him. Carlos Harris even more high on him now. But again, I feel like that striking defense and that herky-jerky style on the feet a little bit, especially defensively, I feel like some people will be able to take advantage of that. But stuff to look out for, but definitely a lot of promise in both guys. And definitely Harris is the one to watch or look out for. Then to the next fight we had in the women's flyweight division, Blanchfield versus Alpara. In this fight, no finish was materialized, and Blanchfield looked even better than I thought she would look. I thought she would get a finish, but I didn't think she would look that good. So she looked better than I thought she would look, only but she didn't get the finish. But dominated Alpara from start to finish in every single facet of the game. And it's not like I was very low on Alpara, to be honest. It wasn't the case that I was so high on Blanchfield because it's not like that much tape on her, but from what I saw, I was more impressed, far more impressed than what I saw from Alpara. So it was a case of saw a little bit of tape on Blanchfield, was decently impressed. And Alpara, I was just ultimately never impressed with her skills, and it played out. Like, it was not a competitive fight at all, and Blanchfield dominated her from start to finish in every single facet of the game. Just didn't get the finish, so another win. Then Montel Jackson versus JP Buys in our next fight in the bantamweight division. And this fight was pretty solid. JP Buys definitely showed. I'm gonna give JP Buys or JP Bays his credit. I always say this man's a quitter. Every time he gets tagged, he starts to quit. But in this fight, man, in fact, even his last fight, he got dropped like several times, but kept fighting until the ref pulled his opponent off him. But he showed hard in that fight. He showed hard in this fight. Matter of fact, he showed even more hard in this fight. He got dropped like 6 times almost, and kept battling. And he looked good in the first round. Actually won the first round, and was competitive throughout. Well, until like second, like mid part of that second round, and all the third round, he was just really fighting for his life, or so trying to survive. But he definitely wasn't trying to quit, and he made it to a decision. So, but matter of fact, it was 4 knockdowns. I'm looking right at the screen, but 4 knockdowns. They feel like 6, but either way, he showed heart. I'll give him that, and he definitely has some potential. I think they need to match him. See that he lost 2 fights, but see the talent in him, see the youth in him. Take it slow with him, and this guy can definitely start to make his way up the ranks, or at least develop, and definitely has a lot of potential. Both of these guys have high ceilings, but JP Buys need to take a slower route. He's young, I think like 22, 21, very young guy. No need to be putting him against Montel Jackson with like a top tier prospect, and give him getting him shot worn and whatnot. But impressed by both guys. And then to our next, but again, a win right there. Next fight we had Rong Zhu versus Brandon Jenkins, and Rong Zhu just impressed me far more than I thought he would. I was like very impressed with him. Got the stoppage, was dominant, not dominant, but like pretty dominant in every single round, and then materialized a stoppage in the third round. Brandon Jenkins, I can't really say too much for him. I can't say he's going to have a great success in the UFC. I got to see more. Rong Zhu on the side, I feel like he showed what he was supposed to show in his debut fight, but again, got to see more from him. I feel like Rong Zhu definitely has more potential. Brandon Jenkins, I'm not sure. He might be able to stick around for a little bit, but until I see more, I just think he's just here and there. Might just lose the next fight and be out of the UFC. Rong Zhu, I feel like with some time, he can evolve and be a factor, or at least in the picture in the lightweight division. To be in the picture in the lightweight division. In other division, when you're in the picture, like in the top 10, in the picture in lightweight is top 50, because there's so many people in that weight class. But I'm saying he's in the picture, like people that at least watch MMA are kind of consistent with the division, like, that they'll know him is what I'm saying. Like, they'll know him, and even people in the division, like, this guy's solid and whatnot. And he'll probably fight some of the top guys and here and there. But yeah, impressed by Rong Zhu, and yet another win. And then our next fight we had in the women's bantamweight division, Raquel Pennington versus Pandy Kianzad. And this fight literally went exactly as I thought it would go. Pennington, like, Kianzad being the more technical fighter, but Pennington, being that big bully, like crowding her space, and not allowing her to be comfortable, not allowing her technique to really shine through. So exactly close, but Pennington being that bigger bully out there and getting that decision victory. Close as I expected, method of winning as I expected, and perfect. So another win. And as far as both fighters, they both got a lot of potential, but I would say neither of these women are making anyone like a champion or really in that picture shaking their boots. They not. They solid, but they both got their limitations. Might be to eke their way to a title fight, but Amanda Nunes would beat both of them on the same night. That's all I'm saying. They're not really no big, oh my gosh, this person's come up in the rankings. Pennington might still be able to beat Miesha Tate, but yeah, that's all I can really say on that one. Then on to our next fight, we had in the light heavyweight division, Tafon Nchukwi versus Mike Rodriguez, or Mike Rodriguez versus Tafon Nchukwi. And this fight I was really impressed. Like, I already have been impressed with Tafon Nchukwi, but he's just such a, like, a young talent. You're going to see those dips. You're going to see the lows. You're going to see them tested. You're going to see them sometimes lose. Sometimes they're going to power through whatnot. He came off a disappointing loss, but he rebounded, took us a minor setback to a major comeback, and he dominated Mike Rodriguez from start to finish of this fight. Came up back to light heavyweight, looked good, looked sharp, and polished his star and showed through. And I feel like he looked a little bit fast, looked a little bit sharper, and really answered a lot of things I was kind of questioning about him going to this fight. I picked him to win, but he also addressed a lot of my questions and concerns in this one. So Tavon Chukwu definitely impressed me, and I definitely think he has a bright star. But still feel like you can't rush him along too quick. Take your time with him. Well, if the UFC is like a league, or if they want to really build their young stars or potential young stars, take your time with them and just give them some like lower tier competition, maybe stacks like 3 wins together, and then start to push them along. And I could potentially see this guy, really blossoming into a contender with some time. So impressed with Tavon Chukwu. Mike Rodriguez on the other side. This looked tentative in this fight. Takedown defense still look questionable. Grappling still look questionable. So it's still like Rodriguez is still the same guy he was before. I'm not really seeing that evolution, that improvement. You want to see some evolution in his grappling. You want to see some more tenacity. You want to see him bite down the mouthpiece and really let it go. And he didn't. He was tentative. He let Nchukwi lead the dance, take him where he wanted to take him, do what he wanted to do to him, and really had no counters, no comebacks. He had a couple of like clean counters here and there, but not enough. Like he was just not in the fight. Like Nchukwi just took the fight out of him from start, and Rodriguez had a little burst. So would like to see a lot more from Rodriguez. He was 6'4" versus guy 6 feet. He had 4-inch height advantage and like a 7-inch reach advantage, and didn't use it. So good for me that he was like not on point. Good for Tavon, but I said Tavon would beat him regardless. But I feel like Rodriguez could have did a better showing for himself regardless. Good turnaround for Nchukwi, but Mike Rodriguez is like he about to be out of the UFC, unless maybe he gets the Sam Alvey treatment and they give him another fight. He did get a fight that should have he should have beat Ed Herman, but they let Ed Herman just flat out cheat the system and get a victory over him. But so it's not like he's on the long of a losing streak as he should be. It really should, as long as a losing streak as he is, like he really should be like on a 1-fight losing streak because he beat Ed Herman, to be honest. Nah, he lost to Danilo Marquez after that, but I don't know which one. It was something like that. But so he should be on a 2-fight losing streak and not a 3, is all I'm saying. But looking like he's about to be out of the UFC, to be honest, but still a lot of talent. But I want to see that fire a lot more from him, especially going for I'm not against or for really any of these fighters like that. I just want to just give my little critiques. But talented fighter, but could use some more fire and some more work, some real dedicated work to work on these patches that just aren't being fixed. And then to our next fight, we had in the middleweight division, Joaquin Buckley versus Antonio Arroyo. And Arroyo just came out. It was never really like he was so far behind on Arroyo, to be honest. It was a close fight. Arroyo maybe leading a little bit. Maybe going to decision probably could have been a fight that would have been up in the air. Maybe more people might feel like Arroyo was winning, and I feel like it was pretty close. But then Buckley found that knockout explosive. Caught Arroyo lacking, knocked him out. And you can't really ever be lax out there with Buckley. He's so explosive and got so much power, and you can't just be lax. And Arroyo, not as I predicted, but I do have predicted that Arroyo does get lax out there, and Buckley is too explosive to be lax out there with him. Capitalized, I predicted second round, but it was in the third round. So almost perfect prediction, except that Arroyo gave him a little bit more work than I thought he would, but pretty perfect prediction outside the round and a little bit of the play out. But solid performance. Buckley maybe got to work on more of his tactical striking, more of his footwork, better head movement, better entry skills and stuff, like he can work on stuff. But with that power and that explosiveness, he can definitely cause a lot of issues for a lot of people in the division. But I feel like as of right now, he'll probably just be a up and down type fighter. Like he's not going to be a consistent fighter because everybody takes technique, fight IQ, and a lot of different things to really generate that consistency. And I don't think he has it just yet, but definitely has all the potential to do that, and I think he can and will. Arroyo on the other side, I think he's about to be out of the UFC, and rightfully so. He shows some good skills, and I feel like he could be in some exciting fights unless you put him against wrestlers who go on to wrestle him. Yeah, unless you do put him against wrestlers who are going to wrestle him. And just put him in these striking matches, he can be some exciting matches. But as far as potential to really stick around the UFC and actually work his way up the ranks and put wins together, I don't see it from Arroyo. I just see him getting more losses and maybe like one win within that. Either just losing fights, these little close decisions where he just does not push, or getting knocked out, or getting wrestled. So really, I'm definitely looking at Arroyo about to be out of the UFC. Then to our next fight, we had in the bantamweight division, we had Mannis versus Tony Gravely, and this was my second loss. I had 2 losses. This was the second and last loss for this card. Mannis versus Gravely, and this Gravely was looking every bit like what I thought he would look like. He was dominating the fight. He was in the lead. He was looking good, looking great. But it's MMA, and it's not like it's a knock on Mannis. Mannis capitalized just like the same way with Harris capitalized. Mannis capitalized. So he capitalized, saw opportunity. He got hurt. Then he hurt Gravely. Like he caught him opportunity, and just like that, MMA, what makes it great and what makes it bad and what makes it this and makes it that, and makes it beautiful. At any given second, it could be 1 second left. The fight could end in that very moment, no matter how great of a start or great of a fight you were doing, perfect game plan, just like that, it could be over. So, good performance from Mannis. I definitely think he can make some decent waves in the division. Gravely took a knockout loss, but I don't think it wasn't a case where he got dominated the whole fight or just looked lesser or his chin was bad or this was that. It's just a case, Mannis saw opportunity, he capitalized, but yes, it's a loss and a setback, and he not get a win bonus or whatnot. But I think Gravely can definitely rebound from this and still has all the skills to, be decent and solid in this division. But I definitely think he needs to take a side step, pick some wins up and stuff, and then work his way back onto the path to rising up his contender status or prospect status. And Mannis on the side, like a good win for him, but also a lot to learn and take from this fight. It's like he's on a route where he's on a fast track to the top of the division. He also needs to take a side step and, just build some wins up and work on some things. Why was he getting touched earlier? Why was he getting losing the fight early? Why wasn't the fight a smooth fight from start to finish, and work on some of those things? And so I feel really, even though Mannis and Gravely won, Madness won and Gravely lost. I don't feel like it's such a great gap between them in any way, and they both kind of still in the same position. But it's almost like Mannis came up to where Gravely is, but Gravely kind of just plateaued in a way. So even though it's a win, he's up in the rankings. I'm just saying, level of competition they're gonna fight, I feel like they both could take the same exact route. And it's about picking up wins, picking up experience, and sharpening up skills. That's where they're both at right now. Not on the path to trying to really rise the rankings and challenge for a title or get those contender fights or anything like that. Just sidetrack, put some wins together, and then start going back to ascension. But yeah, good performance. My second loss and last loss. And then our next fight we had in the lightweight division, Arman Siakarin versus Christos Giagos. And I thought Giagos would, be a decent punching bag or a decent workman and, give Siakarin some, a guy that's gonna give him some good work. Like Siakarin's gonna beat him and dominate everywhere, but I thought he'll be out there. He'll be making it a fight, is what I can say. Not a real fight, but he'll be in there, he'll be doing some punches, landing some punches, threatening with takedowns, trying to stuff some takedowns. Not to the greatest success, but he'll be in there and he'll make you work. But nah, Siakarin just said, I have different plans. I'm just gonna run right through this man and knock him out in the first round. And I know that's all with Siakarin about his dog Giagos. Typically he lost to these better guys, but he typically did get him some decent work. But in this case, Siakarin, I know Siakarin's a great talent. He just said, I'm a great talent. I don't have to be out here. I don't need no work. I'm gonna put this man out. And that's what he did. And as far as Siakarin, even before this fight, and even when he was coming to UFC, I just saw this guy has amazing wrestling, amazing striking. Potentially, this could be a great fight for Khabib, a great test for Khabib if Khabib does stick around. And this guy is not going to be like a Khabib friend or brother or cousin and not fight him. This guy is a guy that would fight him, will get better, young and a lot of talent. But Khabib retired, and that fight won't materialize. And I'm not saying even right now, Khabib, he would necessarily be up to Khabib because he already lost to Khabib's protege in a way, Islam Makhachev, in a very close fight. But that would be interesting to have, a fighter like one of these people that's high-level wrestlers, high-level strikers that would actually fight Khabib but not related to Khabib or in some way. But again, we don't get to see things happen. But definitely Siakarin has a very bright future ahead of him. I can see him rematching Islam Makhachev for the title in the future. Maybe whether he wins or loses, I could definitely see him up there. And whether, again, he wins or loses, I see him up in that echelon. He's already at that point. But probably needs a little bit more work so he can actually materialize a victory in that fight and become champion. If that does happen, that is the future. But very, very high star in Siakarin. It was, without doubt, my lock of the night. By far, no matter decision, knockout, submission, my lock of the night. And he came through. Then our next fight we had in the women's flyweight division, Ariane Lipsky versus Mandy Baum. And this fight went way different than I thought it would in a way. I picked Lipsky, and a lot of people were leaning the Baum really because they thought, Lipsky lost to Montana De La Rosa, which really means nothing. Baum is not a wrestler. Lipsky has a wrestling issue. It's not like her striking is bad. She's struck with some of the better women in the division. Baum on the other side is like full straight to like tuna cans. And sometimes people just come in here and this momentum and other things, they get better and they come in here and they like I don't know, but where I'm going with that. By the way, sometimes people come in here and like they just win. It's like who cares what my competition was like? It's about me. It's not about who I fought necessarily. I've been working on my skills. I've been training hard. I've been building myself, and now I'm in the UFC and I'm gonna get that win. And then it's like, yes, I didn't fight nobody, but yeah, I just beat you, and I'm gonna beat her, and I beat her, and look at my record now. Now I got some decent people on record, but Baum I just saw like she was long. She had some decent striking, but long, stiff, questionable grappling. So it was gonna be a striking matchup, and I saw Lipsky is the more polished striker, more polished fighter, actually younger as well. I thought it'd be a competitive, close fight, but Lipsky came out here and just straight dominated Baum in every single round, dropped twice. So I picked Lipsky. I thought it'd be a close fight, but it was not at all. It was very much one-sided, and I saw all the things I did see in Lipsky, but even more so, like on steroids in a way. Saw that she was fast. Saw that she had more power. Her power was even more evident. Her speed was even more evident, and also her technique was even more evident. I don't really give her such a great technical advantage as far as striking. I saw all this experience and stuff, but I guess with experience, you fighting better people, so your striking not gonna look isn't great because you're fighting better people. So when you take a step down, you fight somebody with lesser skill, lesser experience, then you start to see those little small little details or turn into big details. But a win for me nonetheless. Impressed by Lipsky, but I still think she'll lose too. If she goes against a wrestler or somebody decent, they're gonna put her on her back, ground and pound her, bust her up, and beat her unless she really been working on that area. And it did look decent prior to the UFC. Her grappling looked pretty solid prior to UFC. I don't know what happened, but we'll see. But if she does go against a solid wrestler, solid grappler, or somebody's gonna mix it up or look to take it to the ground, then I'm gonna pick against her again. But in this one, she goes against these lesser tier people with that strikers are not really sure what they want to be and very much entry level. I'm gonna pick Lipsky in those fights, just like I picked her in this fight. Now to our next fight, we had in our co-main event in the light heavyweight division, Qui Lava versus Devin Clark. So a lot of people are like, oh, one person was like, Clark never been lost a decision, and Qui Lava don't typically win decisions, but I picked the decision. And this fight was another fight that was a lot more one-sided than I thought it would. I picked Qui Lava, but I didn't think it would be this one-sided. He just dominated Clark in every single round, dropped him, took him down 8 times. So nearly should have had him out in the first round. But impressive performance for Qui Lava. Clark, it's not like a setback from Clark. Clark is who I thought he was. Qui Lava is who I thought he was. I don't think Qui Lava is going to make such great waves in the division. He'll be able to get some wins here and there. But anytime he steps up and faces real competition or better competition, he's going to lose. Like, people that actually, I'm not saying just real competition, I'm saying people that you can actually see in the title picture. He'll lose to those people time and time again. And as far as people that just aren't it, he'll beat them time and time again until he gets older or stuff has happened or stylistic matchup comes up and he just loses. But yeah, at the end of the day, both these people are who I thought they were. And I think to the end of their career, they'll roughly be who I thought they were. But none of the guys are bad fighters at all. But they are also the bad thing about it is they are who I thought they were. So another win. Qui Lava got a decision. So perfect pick, just much more dominant. But you just go based off a very broad view. That's a perfect pick. Qui Lava decision, perfect. A lot of people didn't see it coming, but perfect. And then now to our main event we had in the light heavyweight division, Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann, in another semi-perfect pick in a way. But the submission instead of knockout, first round instead of third round, so really not perfect at all, but pick the right man, so a win's a win. I thought, like I said, Spann's good in bursts. He tried to come in, but again, a guy that's only looked good in his last fight because let me see. In his wins, he beat a 90-year-old Rogerio Nogueira, knocked him out. And actually, not fight, he was getting outboxed by Rogerio Nogueira, a 90-year-old Rogerio Nogueira. Then he just caught him, saw something, caught him. And then he beat Misha Serkinov, knocked Misha Serkinov off. But Misha Serkinov, like I said, is a guy who strikes as a means to end. His striking is not really striking. It's just a means to get to a takedown. So he can't really strike. And a grappler versus a grappler in the striking matchup, the better striker won, which was Ryan Spann. And Smith has been in there with some of the better strikers in this sport, in this division, and won. And Spann has not really been in there with a credible win over a striker. He's been two credible wins. Too much of a credible striker. I just thought Smith was just the more polished striker. I thought Spann, if he would have moments, it would be bursts, and he really didn't have moments. The fight ended pretty quickly. Spann tried to rush Smith. Smith is like, yeah, what are you doing? Like, this is sloppy. Caught him over top, hurt him on his glass chin, hurt him again, took his back, choked him out. But again, it's proved that Smith is just a much more polished fighter. Spann is not a striker. I don't know why people thought he was a striker. He's not a striker. He might be confused to think he's a striker, but he's not a striker. And Smith been there, done that with better competition, and just made it look easy. As simple as that. I feel like Smith will. I feel like Smith's still gonna be in the same position. Both of these guys, just as I said in the last fight between Qui Lava and Clark, both of these guys have proved to me they are who they are in a way. Spann's still young. Maybe he has some time to turn around. Smith is looking real good, but I don't think he'll. I think Rackett will still beat him if they fought again. I think he might have potential to beat Blachowicz, might have potential to beat Glover, but I think Rackett will beat him again. I think Blachowicz, I still probably pick Blachowicz again. You gotta give Blachowicz respect. So it's a toss fight. He might have a chance to eke out a title victory. All right. But yeah, he might have a chance, but I don't think it's all that great, but I gotta see more. But definitely has a lot of potential on him. I mean, a decent bit of potential. Like that streak he riding a pretty decent streak over some young prospects. But yeah, impressed with Smith, but ultimately is what I think it was. Finished 11 of 14, 11 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Very solid card, and I'm looking forward to the next card. And that's the video where I went wrong, like UFC Vegas 37 edition. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.